Hi everyone, welcome back to another guitar tutorial. I've got a really cool blues country style lick for you to check out today. Now this is taken from a cover version of Folsom Prison Blues performed by Josh Turner and Carson Mckee. Now if you haven't heard of these guys already, they're fantastic musicians, really big here on YouTube. I'll link to their channels below. And this is actually from a live in London performance that they posted sometime last year, I think it was. The lick is basically the end of the solo. It's kind of a turnaround lick really. And it's basically just a pentatonic minor scale descending run, but it really highlights how just a simple tool like a pentatonic minor scale, if played in a musical way with a couple of little blues inflections in there, can sound really, really effective, and something that hopefully you can take and use in your own playing as well. So I'm going to break it down for you. It's nice and simple, so hopefully you'll get this under your fingers really, really quickly. I'll put a link in the description below as well as the time code to the original video where I got this lick from, so you can check that out as well. If you enjoyed the lesson, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more regular videos. And without further ado, let's get cracking. So this is a nice straightforward type of lick. It's essentially just an E minor pentatonic scale played in descending order using 16th notes. There's a couple of really nice cool bluesy ideas that are thrown in there that we can definitely take and use elsewhere in our playing as well. I'll play the lick for you first at a slower speed and then we'll break it down after that. So here it is, it starts on beat 1 of the bar. 1, 2, 3, 4. And a little bit faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so as you can see, we're just using the E minor pentatonic scale. So just a quick run through that. That would be the open E string, the 3rd fret of the E string, open A, 2nd fret A, open D, 2nd fret D, open G, 2nd fret G, open B, 3rd fret B, open E, and then 3rd fret E to finish. Now the lick itself starts with a hammer on from the open B string to the 3rd fret of the B string, followed by an open high E. And then we do this cool little bend from the 3rd fret. We're not actually bending specifically to the 4th fret, but we're bending slightly to imply that sound. So it's basically the minor to the major 3rd of an E chord. And so the trick is to kind of bend the note up and then release, and we're going to play the open E after it. So it's important that we don't hear the bend coming back down again. We want to just leave it as it's going up. Now the way I tend to do this is by using the pick, so I put the pick back onto the string before I pick it again for the release. You can also release that finger off, kind of whichever works best for you really. So the first section again. So that's a really cool little phrase just by itself, so you could take that and just use that on its own. You know, really bluesy sound to it. It's all about that minor to major 3rd kind of implication of the little bend there. So after that, we're just descending through the scale, starting on the 3rd fret of the B string. And then when we get to that 3rd fret of the low E string, we do the same bend that we did on the high E string, just pulling it down slightly, not bending it all the way to the next fret, and again stopping it before it comes down again, so we don't want to get this sound. We want... Okay, so all together. Nice and straightforward. Now with the picking hand, it's literally alternate picking all the way. So we're going to start with a down pick for the hammer on, open, hammer on. Then we're going to do an up pick for the high E, and then a down pick for the little bend on that 3rd fret, an up pick on the open E again, down on the 3rd fret of the B, and then ascending all the way with alternate picking. Now at this point here, when we do that little bend on the low E string, I would pick this with a down pick, that's where we end up, and then another down pick for the open E string, because that's the first beat of the following bar. Okay, so. So really good practice for your alternate picking and for your 16th note timings. 16th notes is essentially 4 notes per beat. So if you've got a metronome set and it's doing that kind of a click, so that's essentially it. That's the whole lick. Where he plays it during the solo is just at the 5 chord. So it's basically a 12-bar blues in the key of E. And so when the 5 chord comes around, the B7, there's a whole bar of that B7 before the lick then leads back into the E chord, which is the 1 chord of the key. So something like. You can of course experiment with it in other positions if you want to, and again take little sections out of it. It's also a really great way of practicing your scale, because you can kind of practice it in that slightly more musical way, build up your speed as you go, and you know, lots of possibilities for it there. But it really just shows you how just something as simple as a minor pentatonic scale in that open E position can be used to sound really, really cool and bluesy in this context. So hope you have some fun with that. So I hope you found that useful. It's a really cool little run. Hopefully you've got that under your fingers pretty quickly, and you can start to use that idea or something similar in your own playing. If you enjoyed the lesson, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel. Please let me know in the comments below if there's anything you'd like to see me do a lesson on in future. And thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you in the next one.